This is unreal. Can you really believe that there are a lot of credit unions out there that offer large and dirt cheap business loans? This is insane. But today, in today's conversation, I'm actually going to show you how to get a large and dirt cheap business loan from a credit union no matter what. Stick around to lead into this conversation. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of the Awesome Sweetie Kiwi Show. How are you today? I hope you are doing fantastic. I'm doing marvelous, if you were to ask me. If you are doing as great as I am, go grab a cup of coffee or tea or vodka and let's roll. In today's conversation, I want to talk to you about how to get a large and dirt cheap business loan from a credit union no matter what. And here, I'm just talking about businesses and business owners who have bad credit, no credit, fair credit, great credit, doesn't matter, because the methodology I'm going to share with you is a proven one that will actually get you what the kind of loan you need from a business, from a credit union. Let's get right into it. Number one, you need to set a legit business structure. Very important. If you want to get a large and dirt cheap business loan from a credit union, you got to have a business, right? Duh, makes sense. This is logic. So when I'm talking about a legit business structure, I'm referring to things like having an EIN, right? So you want to have an employer identification number from the IRS. You want to have a legal structure, no sole proprietorship, no solopreneur here. You need to have a business, LLC, C Corp, S Corp, LLP. Our preference here is to have an LLC, a limited liability company. This can even be a single member LLC. Even if you're one person, you can actually get it done. It's so easy to do. You got to have a business bank account, a business credit card if you qualify for it. Try to have a business tax returns or at least a clear Schedule C. A Schedule C is really where you show on your business tax return the business part of your life. In other words, if you are an entrepreneur, if you're self-employed, you put everything related to the business on your Schedule C. So make sure you have a clear Schedule C on your 1040. You also have to think about business branding, logo, website, all that kind of stuff. Business accounting setup. You need to do that. No need to actually spend thousands of dollars. You can actually do everything online. You can sign up for a free service like Wave, yeah, or Zero or QuickBooks online, and pay like I think $5 or $10. Think about also having a business plan. Think about business licenses, permits, and certificates. My point is that you need to set a legit business structure. So when a credit union looks at your application, your loan application, they are convinced that you are legit and you're just not some sort of a random John Doe or Jane Doe who's trying to get a loan. Step number two. So after setting a legit business structure, you really now have to understand the various types of credit unions. Because before we even talk about getting a large and dirt cheap business loan from a credit union, you need to understand what a credit union is. A credit union is similar to a bank. The only difference is that a credit union is not a for-profit business. It is a non-for-profit business. Credit unions are generally non-profit cooperatives. In other words, they have members. They don't have customers. And they have members. They don't have shareholders. All right. So when you think about that, that means what? It means that if you're trying to get a loan from them, if you're trying to get a loan from a business, from a credit union, you need to be a member. You need to really think about community, establishing relationship. This is the kind of strategy that's going to get you a foot in the door, right? And there are different types of credit unions. We have federal credit unions. We have federally insured state credit unions. We have community credit unions. We have educational credit unions. We have military credit unions. We have associational credit unions. We have manufacturing industry credit unions. You have service industry credit unions. You have government credit unions. You have corporate credit unions. You have non-federal credit unions. You have multiple common bond credit unions. Now, you might be thinking, why do I need to know all the types of credit unions? You better know this different types of credit unions. Why? Because if your job is to get a large and dirt cheap business loan from a credit union, you better be specific. You better be strategic. You better target the kind of specific credit union you want to get the loan from. And the more you know about the typology of credit unions, the better you are equipped in terms of getting the loan approved. And one thing I also want to make sure you understand here is that, and I will speak about that later on in the show, you really want to make sure that the credit union you choose is preferably in your neighborhood, or preferably in the city where you live, or in the state where you live. Even if a lot of credit unions allow you to apply online, and say you might be in New York and you want to apply for a loan offered by a California-based or a Texas-based credit union, that's kind of cool. There's nothing wrong with that. But your chances might be higher, your chances of approval might be higher if you borrow or if you apply for a loan through a local credit union. Step number 3, folks. I want you to know the different types of credit union business loans. Just as you have a variety of credit unions, you also have a large constellation of business loans from credit unions. And when we talk about credit union business loans, we refer to things like installment loans, lines of credit, SBA loans, startup loans, commercial mortgages, and in some cases, business credit cards. So when you think about getting a large and dirt cheap business loan, you got to ask yourself, what do you mean exactly with a loan? What do you mean exactly with business funding? Are you looking for an installment loan? Are you looking for a line of credit? Is an SBA loan better for your business at this particular point in time? Think about that and answer me or answer yourself. Write it down. What matters to you? Where is your business at this particular time? What kind of funding do you need, and how is that going to help you move to the next level? Those are the kind of conversations you need to have in your head and with your team. This is the analytical journey you need to have. And for example, a startup loan. Some credit unions actually specialize in startup business loans, and they will give you a dirt cheap APR, something like 3% or 4% or 5%. Which is wonderful already. And if you are, let's say, you are in commercial, let's say you have a startup and you're looking for an office, you want to buy an office, you have commercial mortgages offered by credit unions. So this is the kind of thing you need to think about. One thing that's pretty cool with credit unions is that unlike banks and other lenders, they are willing to work with you over time. They are willing to look at other factors when evaluating your application. They are willing actually to look beyond your credit score when underwriting your business loan. So you want to really take advantage of that. And this is really important, whether it is an SBA loan or a line of credit or an installment loan. Step number 4, folks. You need to understand how credit union business loans work. They are different. They're not similar to. They share some similarities with traditional bank loans, but they have their own, I would say, specifics. And so let's just talk about the pros and cons of a credit union business loan. So the pros: low interest rates for qualified borrowers. They have excellent customer service. Loans are available to businesses with bad credit, and loans are available to startup businesses. And this is very important, and we love that. In our research, we have seen time and again that one of the biggest advantages of getting a loan from a credit union is the very low interest rates for qualified borrowers, because credit unions are nonprofit organizations. Guess what? They don't have to pay state and federal taxes. So this allows these financial institutions to offer extremely competitive interest rates to their members, often beating out the rates offered by banks. So this is pretty cool, and you got to take advantage of that. Okay, and another advantage is that credit union account holders are seen as members and not just as customers. I think I sort of made that point clear from the get-go in today's conversation. And what about the cons of credit unions business loans? You have limited lending services available, so the choice is kind of limited. Members may not be able to apply for a business loan right away, so they want you to stay maybe to stick around for 3 months or 6 months, so sort of have some kind of probationary period, right? So they want to check you out before, quote unquote, check you out before they actually advance you the funds. And another con rather, is that loans may not be available to very bad or limited credit borrowers. Now, it depends on the credit union that you choose. One thing I want to tell you right now is that the kind of interest rate you can expect from a credit union depends largely on your credit worthiness and the business that you have, but also on the strength, the solidity of your business plan. Because when we talk about getting a large and dirt cheap business loan from a credit union, there is a large constellation of factors that get into the equation here. So besides creditworthiness, also make sure you have a strong loan application. Very important. I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another section of the Awesome Studio Kiwi Show. We are still having a conversation about how to get a large and dirt cheap business loan from a credit union, no matter what. So I've told you that in step number 1, you need to set a legit business structure. Step number 2, understand the various types of credit unions. Step number 3, you need to know the different types of credit union business loans. Number 4, understand how credit union business loans work. Number 5, you need to learn how to evaluate credit union business loans. What I'm trying to say here very clearly is that you don't want to pay too much. You want to get the right loan. You want to get the right business loan at the right credit union under the right terms, right? If you are a small business, chances are you want to save all the cash you have, and you don't want to overpay in interest rates or fees, right? Origination fees, prepayment fees, NSF fees, whatever. So you need to actually analyze credit union business loans by looking at the specific borrowing terms. First, you have interest / APR. Then you have default interest. You have the personal guarantee. You have the repayment terms. Those are the 4 elements you need to pay attention to. Interest APR. The interest clause explains what type of rate the loan carries, how the rate was calculated, and what the rate is. Term loans generally feature a fixed rate, which stays the same for the life of the loan. If you are applying for, say, a 7A or a 704 loan guaranteed by the Small Business Administration, you may have a fixed or variable rate. And a variable rate is tied to a market index such as LIBOR, and it can increase or decrease in tandem with fluctuations in its corresponding index. What about default interest rate? So in addition to the regular interest rate, you should also check to confirm if there is a default rate. This is a higher penalty rate that applies when you miss a loan payment. Personal guarantee, some loans may ask for a personal guarantee, so you want to double check that. And repayment. So in most cases, term loans are repaid according to a fixed schedule, so you always know when payments are due. In some instances, however, the lender may include an on-demand clause in the loan terms. This clause allows the lender to demand payment in full at any time, sometimes with as little as a 24-hour advance notice. So you want to use those four criteria to compare multiple loan offers. And you also have to think about whether or not you can afford the loan, right? Because once you know the interest and the payment amount, ask yourself if you can actually afford the loan. Step number 6, folks, you need to know credit union business loan requirements. And this is an important element. And the application process varies from credit union to credit union, but some documentation is required by all credit unions when applying for a business loan. So, for example, you have business licenses. So the kind of licenses that relate to your industry, you need to have that. Licenses, permits, okay? Articles of incorporation. If you remember earlier, I was talking to you about having a business, not being a solopreneur. You got to have a business. So a credit union might want to see your articles of incorporation. They might want to see profit and loss statements. If you don't have actual results, you can create fact-based projections, fact-based projected income statements, which is the same name as profit and loss statements. And they also might want to see personal and business financial statements. So financial statements include profit and loss statements, right? Also balance sheets, cash flow statements, and in some cases, stockholders' equities statements. And you might also want to have already income tax returns, both for the company and also for yourself. It's very important to understand that the business will also need to stake how to actually indicate how much money they are seeking and how the funds will be used. And usually you do this through a business plan, because the business plan really encapsulates, if you will, the vision that you have, the mission that you have for your company, where you see yourself in 12 months, where you see the business rather in 12 months, where you see the business in 18 months, and so on and so forth. It is, if you will, an indirect conversation you're having with the lender. You're explaining to the credit union what you intend to do what you intend to do with the cash, and why that particular amount is so important for your business. Okay, and one thing you also need to understand is that if there is a collateral required, if there is a personal guarantee, you have to actually post the collateral. You have to pledge the collateral in a certain way, and there are legal documents that pertain to that particular situation. And I'm showing you right now on the screen here. You can see we have a simple business loan application form from Consumers Credit Union. I'm showing you right now the first page on the screen, then the second page, the third page, and the fourth page. So I'm just showing this to you so you have an idea of what they require in terms of the business loan application. Step number 7, folks. You want to shop around for credit union business loans. If your goal is to get a large and dirt cheap business loan from a credit union, no matter what, you need to shop around. And the cool thing here is that we have done the research for you, and we have the top 10 business loans from credit unions, and they have a large amount. They have a high approval rate. We have covered this particular topic on another show, so I'm going to quickly run through it here. So we have the Boeing Employees Credit Union, and loan amounts all the way to $250,000. We have here the Alliance Credit Union, loan amount all the way to $500,000. We do have the American Heritage Credit Union, loan amount all the way to $100,000. And we have here the Blue Federal Credit Union, loan amount all the way to $1 million. We have GTE Financial, loan amount all the way to $500,000. We have NASA Federal Credit Union, loan amount all the way to $1 million. We have Consumers Credit Union, loan amount all the way to $500,000. We have Teachers Federal Credit Union, loan amount all the way to $250,000. We have America First Credit Union, loan amounts all the way to $1 million. This is pretty cool. And last but not the least, we have Navy Federal Credit Union, loan amount all the way to $100,000. Now, all these 10 loans that I've just listed here, they are what we call open credit unions. In other words, membership is very easy to get. Usually, you just have to make a small donation, $5 to a charity that they actually the sponsor, the credit union sponsors, and then you're in. And that of course that happens only if you don't qualify through the normal route, right? The normal route will be that you are affiliated with the credit union through family or through the industry. If you have a military affiliation, for example, you can qualify for the Navy Federal Credit Union and that kind of stuff. But if you don't qualify, you have other ways to join the credit union and get the loan you deserve. Step number 8, folks. So once you have a list of all the, you have an idea of all the credit union business loan options available out there, you need to choose your preferred credit union. And this is how you need to confirm eligibility. Now, it's important to understand that actually credit unions do differ from banks because you have to join. With the bank, most people can simply supply personal information, deposit money into the account, and become a customer. Remember though, account holders at credit unions are members, not customers. So to become a member, you must meet certain membership requirements. This sounds difficult, but it's usually surprisingly easy to join a credit union. As I just said before, consumers and business owners can be eligible to join a credit union through employers or industries, military affiliation, alumni association, religious institutions, geographic location, family members, other group memberships, including labor unions and homeowners association. So when a suitable credit union has been found, what you want to do is that you need to fill out an application to open a checking and or a savings account. And you want to do that because you want to establish that relationship. And this application process is very similar to the process for opening a bank account. Once the application has been submitted and approved, a deposit is usually required to open the account. So after you become a member of the credit union, then you are eligible to apply for additional financial services, including personal and business loans. And step number 9, this is an important step also. You need to establish a relationship with a credit union. This is very important. For a traditional bank or an online lender, you don't need to establish any kind of relationship. But when it comes to a credit union, you need to have a relationship. You want to open a personal account, you want to open a business account, you want to cultivate a relationship with your account manager. You need to know that person's by first name. Okay? You need to visit the local branch if you can. Let branch officers understand your business in and out. If you're trying to get a large and dirt cheap business loan, you better make sure everybody knows what you are up to, what your business is up to, what your business is about, the potential of your business. You want to get out there and let everybody know you. Very important. You need to participate in the credit union's local activities. You need to take part in other community initiatives. Get your business's name out there. It's as simple as that. Step number 10, folks, last but not the least. If you are trying to get a large and dirt cheap business loan from a credit union, no matter what, once you have done all those things that I just told you, you need to finally submit the loan application. One thing you need to understand is that once you submit the loan application, the process doesn't stop there. You need to follow up with your account manager. And if you know the name of the loan underwriter, contact the person to know what's going on. You may be required to provide additional documentation. Please be prompt, be quick in supplying that additional paperwork they're asking you. One thing you need to understand is that they might want additional information like your mission statements if they don't have it already. They might want to see a breakdown of your team, your marketing strategy and competitors, projected revenue. Now, normally, if you have done a great job at crafting a compelling business plan, all that information is already in there anyway, right? You don't have to reinvent the wheel. It's already done. Everything is in the business plan. But if you haven't done that, then you might be required by the credit union to supply additional info. And in some cases, there may be a moment of never-ending paperwork. That's just how business loans from credit unions work. Okay, things are rarely digital. They want to see you. Things usually happen at the branch. They happen face to face. Those things happen face to face. Okay, you need to meet your account manager. They want to see you, and they might actually ask you to submit additional, or let's say hard copies of business licenses and permits, for example. They might want to ask you to submit payroll records, business debt schedule. This is very important. Personal and business tax returns. Okay, so those are just of course, this list is not exhaustive, right? It depends on the credit union, and it depends on the kind of business loan you are applying for, because all business loans are not treated equally. Whether let's say you're looking for an equipment loan versus an unsecured term loan, for example, the requirements might be different. But my point here is to make sure that you have an open mind and be patient. Once you submit the business loan application, you want to follow up, you want to be patient, and you want to be responsive. Very important. All right, folks, this is the end of today's conversation. I was talking to you about how to get a large and dirt cheap business loan from a credit union no matter what. Step number 1, set a legit business structure. Number 2, understand various types of credit unions. Number 3, know the different types of credit union business loans. Number 4, understand how credit union business loans work. Number 5, learn how to evaluate credit union business loans. Number 6, know credit union business loan requirements. Number 7, I want you to shop around for credit union business loans. Number 8, you need to choose your preferred credit union. Number 9, you need to establish a relationship with a credit union. And number 10, you need to submit the business loan application. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. I will see you another time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.